for a tough option, Subramanian Swamy of the Janta party, not for going tough, Mustafa Kamal of the National Conference, for being tougher, Colonel Anil Kaul, for a status quo, Hilal Ahmad War of the People's Political Party. For a tougher option is General B Shekatkar, and against a tougher option is Nizamuddin Bhatt of the PDP, who's in our studios in Srinagar. I'd first like to go across to Dr. Mustafa Kamal and Subramanian Swamy to open the debate on the Newshour tonight. Dr. Mustafa Kamal, my first question to you is this, that unfortunately political parties don't learn lessons from the immediate past. I remember that amidst a terrorist strike, the Jammu and Kashmir government, your government, removed security pickets, CRPF pickets from Srinagar. And even in this month, your state home minister has been saying that your government wants to remove and relocate security pickets and bunkers across Srinagar city and its peripheries. Can you afford to do something like that despite what has happened today? Or has this incident opened you up to the reality on the ground?
Well, as far as I am concerned, this question should be posed to the government.
Well, you are the government.
With regard to today's, well, yes, my party heads the coalition government that is in the state of National Conference and the Congress Party. Well, all said, this daring attack, that too in broad daylight, in the outskirts of Srinagar city, and that too on an army convoy, has come after a long lull. It is not unexpected. We all know, the nation knows, the people of J&K state know in particular that this is a proxy war. These incidents have happened in the past, will continue to happen in future, till its root cause is not addressed.
So this is
let us not forget.
Sir, you are deflecting the question.
Let us not forget.
You are deflecting the question.
No, all right. It is part.
You are deflecting.
It is part of it. Let me speak. If you don't like what I say, tell me so. Number one. Number two, as far as removal of bunkers is concerned, kindly remember 2011, 2012 and 2013, 3 years have been good for us. With regard to the pilgrims that visit Amarnath
Sir, you are
shrine,
not being realistic.
The pilgrims that visit Vaishnav, 1 minute, please. And the tourists that have been coming to us for the last 3 years, the dividends of peace should go to the people.
Is this the dividend of peace? Are the pictures that are on television today, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, the dividend of peace? You know, 1 second, in March 2013, we saw the other incident in which 5 CRPF men were killed, which highlighted your state government's ridiculous order that does not permit CRPF men to carry weapons. The CRPF men in Kashmir are stationed there for a reason. They are not traffic policemen.
You're quoting it wrongly. You're quoting it wrongly. As far as the CRPF is concerned, or deployment of police in a civilian area, whether it's a town or a village, part of the force is armed, part is unarmed. That has been made clear by the police, by the DGP police. No police force is in the field that doesn't have an armed cover. You can't give arms to every policeman. That has been made clear by the police.
Mr. Mustafa Kamal.
And as far as bunkers are concerned, don't blame it.
Mr. Mustafa Kamal, you are factually wrong, sir.
We have to move.
You are factually wrong, sir.
We have to take cautious steps towards peace.
Sir, you are wrong, sir.
I'm not factually wrong.
Sir, you are wrong.
You are biased.
Sir, you are wrong, and I am not biased. I'll tell you the fact. The fact of the matter is this. Out of 25,000, I'd like to go to Subramanian Swamy on this next, because I think the time has come. The time has, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, the time has come, hasn't it, for the people of this country to ask themselves whether they want their security forces to be sitting ducks in Srinagar. And why I said you are factually wrong is this, because out of the 25,000 CRPF personnel deployed in Srinagar, only 8,300 of them, which is roughly 1 out of every 3, are mandated to carry weapons. And Mr. Mustafa Kamal, I'd like you to jog your memory and remember that only 1 out of the 5 CRPF personnel killed and 5 out of the 15 personnel who were first to be injured in the Srinagar terrorist attack outside their camp were carrying weapons. The moral of the story, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, is this: you're unarmed and you don't have the powers, and you're not allowed to carry out an onslaught, counter-onslaught, you will be sitting
onslaught
targets. And I do not think
on
these
whom?
are traffic policemen. On the terrorists, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, not on the people.
On a handful of militants? You want to let loose the army on a handful of militants?
And you want the security
Tens of
forces,
thousands of people
you want the
have died in
pickets to be
JNK
taken
state.
off? You want them to walk around
100,000 people
unarmed
have
like
died
traffic
in the last
policemen?
22 years.
Well, I'd like to get Subramanian Swamy
They are
in at
fully
this
armed.
stage. Well, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, your take on the lessons of this, and also Mr. Mustafa Kamal's opening remarks. If you'd like to respond to him directly, please.
Well, he is in a defensive position, so I really sympathize with him. But the two factors have now to be understood as far as the Kashmir situation is concerned. One is that now we have a Taliban-compliant government in Pakistan. And yesterday, the Taliban actually killed a few Chinese tourists in, I think, in POK. And there's going to be more and more of this violence coming from Pakistan because Taliban has got his mind very clear, and there will be more attacks to come. The second thing is that I had a party meeting in Srinagar on the 22nd of May, and I found from whatever sample that party represented, that people are a little confused as to what India is finally going to do. Because they say that the terrorist propaganda is that India gave Pakistan after saying no, 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 and that sooner or later they will give up Kashmir also after saying no, no, no. So somewhere we have to decide, are we going to keep the whole of Kashmir with us and pay any price for it? And if that is so, I don't think the present Umar Abdullah government can discharge its responsibilities according to the Indian Constitution. And we need at least 5 years of president's rule in Srinagar to set everything right.
Is that the only alternative? Let's get in Nizamuddin Bhatt and Hilal Ahmad War. My question to both these gentlemen is, first, if you'd like to respond to the fairly controversial remarks of Subramanian Swamy. But more than that, more than just respond to him, Nizamuddin Bhatt and Hilal Ahmad War, my question to you is, 23 Kashmiri Pandits were massacred at Wandama outside Srinagar before I.K. Gujral's visit, 98. Abdul Ghani Lot was shot in broad daylight at a public rally when Vajpayee was on a visit to the state, 2002. Right? Javed Shah, ex-MLA, was killed when Vajpayee was chairing the Interstate Council meeting, August 2003. Suicide attack in Srinagar when Manmohan Singh was out to flag off a bus service, April 2005. And now, before Manmohan Singh is to visit the state, you have this huge attack on an army convoy. This is not the first time. But what it tells us, Nizamuddin Bhatt and Hilal Ahmad War, and I'd like you to contradict me with any facts if you can, is that we are back to 2005, the cycle of violence of 2003, and what we saw in 1998. Even so, do you want the security forces to roam around like traffic policemen? Would you like to do that? And if so, why?
Mr. Arnab, should I respond?
Yes, please. Either
should
of you,
I
sir.
Respond, or you want Hilal to respond?
Well, I'd like both of you to respond, please, to me, and then I'd like to get in the General Shekatkar and Colonel Kaul.
Both can't talk together.
Let me respond, sir. These occurrences, these are the symptoms of the disease, basic disease, which is the Kashmir problem. If you are going to delay the settlement of the Kashmir dispute for a long time, these occurrences are bound to occur, sir. The gun for Kashmir is not a daily food, but it is a bitter medicine towards the treatment of the disease. Disease is nothing but the Kashmir problem. Once the government of India will take the concrete and the honest steps to resolve the Kashmir dispute, the gun will automatically disappear from the Kashmir.
Really?
The lingering Kashmir dispute will strengthen the armed and unarmed freedom fighters in Kashmir.
Who is the freedom fighter here? Who's the freedom fighter here?
We are the freedom fighter. Sheikhullah was once upon a time freedom fighter before going for the Indian.
You said armed and unarmed freedom fighters. Who's the armed freedom fighter?
Yes, I am.
The Hizbul Mujahideen are freedom fighters?
Freedom fighter. Bhagat Singh
The Hizbul Mujahideen are freedom fighters?
Like the Bhagat Singh was a freedom fighter.
Is the Hizbul Mujahideen freedom fighters? Don't make a comparison between a national hero and a terrorist. Is the Hizbul Mujahideen, is Syed Salahuddin a freedom fighter? You see, the problem is this. You see, the problem is this. You see, the problem is this, Mr. Hilal Ahmad War. The problem is this, is that you lack the courage, and I'm sorry to be direct. You lack the courage.
No, you lack the courage. You are acting like a Veer
against the
Savarkar of the
Hizbul
Indian
Mujahideen.
history. I think if I am not wrong, you are the incarnation of the Veer Savarkar. You are acting like a Hindu Mahasabha chief. You are like acting as a warmonger there. Why don't you act as a journalist and listen to us people? Our problem.
Mr. War,
you are keeping the
Mr. War, you see all this,
India hostage to the Kashmir dispute.
All this, yes. And let me tell you one thing, Mr. Hilal Ahmad War. I presume you are an Indian, and so am I. And if I'm asking you about,
I am not. I am I'm Kashmiri. I am a de facto citizen of India, not the de jure. I want the de jure citizenship. That's what my fight is all about. I am not Indian at all.
Well,
I am a Kashmiri.
Mr.
According
War,
to the Section 7B Part 2.
Mr. War, what you see, the problem with you, Mr. War, is the problem with you, Mr. War, the problem with you and your ilk of separatists, Mr. War, is that you want all the benefits of living in the great democracy called India.
We don't want.
And you also, one second, please, Mr. War, allow me to speak, please. Mr. War, please.
And enjoy your life.
And you want to confuse your shallow rhetoric with the facts. And you think today that just because you lack the courage to say anything against Syed Salahuddin, and you sincerely have no courage to speak against Syed Salahuddin, Mr. War.
He was my friend.
Huh?
No, even I am thinking of the options.
Mr. War, you are exposing yourself.
I was working in an American company. I am educated youth. I have written 2 books, 3 books. My publisher is from New Delhi. But I am thinking of the options.
Precisely.
We are not being given.
Precisely. You see, the problem with you, Mr. War, is... The problem with you, Mr. War, is... One second, please. Mr. War, please do not forget that in May 2002, and don't force me to raise my voice, that senior Hurriyat leader Abdul Ghani Lone was killed by the Pakistan-backed groups. And just because you don't have the courage to speak against them, don't tell me where your publisher is, Mr. War, because that is precisely the point that I made. For you, terrorism is an industry. For the people of this country, terrorism is not an industry. And no amount of your cursing the nation that you belong to will change the facts, Mr. War. So answer the question and face the facts tonight. And do not do politics over blood. Do not do politics over blood. I'd like to go across to General Anil Kaul because Mr. War, you know something, Mr. War. If you have the courage, then tonight I want you, Mr. War, please allow me. I want you. Mr. War.
Don't act as Veer Savarkar.
Mr. War, calm down.
Don't create a war-like situation between
India
and Pakistan.
Calm down, Mr. War.
If God
calm down, Mr. War.
Between India and Pakistan, India will be the big loser.
Mr. War, you see this...
and it will become the Waterloo for the government of India.
Mr. War, calm down.
You are unnecessary.
I'd like to now go across to...
Please, Mr. Arnab, you are a very...
Mr. War, I will ignore any more rubbish that you speak.
This fanatism.
Mr. War, if you can argue intelligently, you are welcome. If you want to indulge in, rhetoric that borders on rubbish, then I will not respond. And if your arguments are based, I am now going to put your mic down, Mr. War, because you are exceeding yourself. And beyond the point, you must understand this. That simply, Mr. War, not having any facts at your disposal, you will expose yourself, Mr. War. Don't expose yourself in the manner that you are. I'd now like to go across to Colonel Anil Kaul. Mr. War, can you have put down your mic for your information, please? Because you seem not to be interested in letting others speak. Right? So, one second. I'd like you to get, just because Mr. Nizamuddin Bhatt is being patient, allow him to speak, please. There are different points of view. In our democracy, you need to be able to express your point of view appropriately. Raising your voice is not the answer, Mr. War. Thank you. Now, I'd like to go to Colonel Anil Kaul and General Shekatkar. General Shekatkar, in the given situation, what is the strategic importance? How should we view the attack which has taken place today? The fact it happened one day before the Prime Minister's visit, and also the fact that it's happened in Hyderpura and Srinagar, on the back of Bamiyan a few months back.
Yes, Mr. Goswami, I'm glad you made this point. You started with the point that whenever there is a visit by the Prime Minister or the President or high dignitaries to Kashmir or elsewhere, these people create a point. They knew it. In fact, this evening when I spoke to somebody in Kashmir, he also stays in Hyderpura, for your information. I asked him, is so-and-so responsible for this? He told me, how do you know about it? I said, this is my guesswork. These people, and they are the one who have instigated this violence. Actually, this attack was to be held yesterday. There are two reasons for it. The Secretary of States of the United States of America is in India. We had a discussion this morning. Tomorrow our Prime Minister is going to open a rail link. Thirdly, very important one, just after 3 days, the Amarnath Yatra is going to start.
Yes.
And some people, day before yesterday, said, no, there is no danger. This is an indirect method of giving a message to India that you cannot come into Kashmir. We will decide. Just the Chief Minister himself said, I don't think there is any threat. So where have these people come from? They were staying in Hyderpura. Even tonight they are there. That car which has come, it is known to people there. And I know I am speaking to a channel like yours, and I know the responsibility. These people have orchestrated this complete attack. Just 2 days back, in Srinagar, they killed their own policemen. They were not from outside. My request is, I think we are giving too much to these people for no rhyme or reason.